Welcome to an American Homestead, podcasting live from deep within the Ozark Mountains at an elevation of 2,200 feet. It is 9 Eastern, 8 Central, and it's good to be back. Got a lot of stuff for you tonight. As you can tell, Jamie's not with me tonight. I'll fill you in on that. But I got my coffee, so all's good. Gonna have a good show tonight. Looking forward to it. Got some giveaways. We're going to do a trivia question tonight as well, so get ready for that. Get your Google fingers ready, because this is going to be a Google question, folks. There's no doubt about it. You're going to have to use Google tonight to get this trivia question. And the giveaway is going to be spectacular. So, well, I mean, I think it's going to be spectacular, but we'll see what you think. So we're going to do tonight, the giveaway is going to be a 10-pack of Super Warmer hot hands, because I want to give away this pack before winter is over. We've been giving away these throughout some of the other shows. And then also, Tim thought it'd be a good idea if we give away one of these. These are one of our USB thumb drives that includes all of our episodes from season 1, all the way season 2, season 3, and includes a grand tour of the homestead. You can't find that video anywhere else. It's a half-hour-long tour of the homestead, complete tour of the homestead. So, half-hour-long tour. So you can't find that video anywhere except right on this USB thumb drive. So you get two things, the hot hands and the season 1 through 3 with expanded, episodes, with plus a special feature of the homestead tour. So, glad you're with us tonight. Let me make sure we're over at, okay, we're over. I'm just making sure we're still live and you can hear me. Okay, good deal. So, Jamie, it's been a really tiring week, folks. I mean, with the sheep and everything, Jamie went into the dentist. That's why she's not on the podcast tonight. She spent most of the week enjoying the homeschool conference that we talked about last week. And then on Friday, she had to go to the dentist and had a small procedure done, and so she is not looking forward to talking. She's not in a talking mood today. So she's recovering from that, and so she'll hopefully maybe be back next week, and if not next week, the week for sure. The week following for sure. So anyway, going to talk about a lot of stuff tonight. I guess I'll go ahead and mention. Seems like I'm kind of bright. I don't know how to. There we go. I guess it's because I had the other window open. Let me see if I can. We'll do the chat later on this evening after I get done with the news and with the things I want to talk about. But tonight we're going to talk about building your homestead in a desert. I know I get a lot of emails and questions off and on from people who are out in Nevada or Arizona or New Mexico, out west in certain places where there's not a lot of rainfall, and they want to build a homestead out there because they know that area or they're from that area, and they want a homestead out in those regions. And it's just, you can do it. I'm just telling you right up front, you can do it, but it's going to be harder, and we'll talk about that, and I'll explain some things coming up on why that is. But first off, I think last week we mentioned the whole gas spouts, the easy pour gas spouts. And a few of you, I think, went to the gasspouts.com website and you sent them an email. And because I told you guys that for some reason my emails weren't getting through to them, and I couldn't get them to, I wasn't sure if they wanted to be a sponsor anymore. But I did want to order a bunch of these to give away to my patrons. And because these are amazing. I mean, they're made in the USA. And I mean, if you're like me, you hate those stupid gas spouts they give you at Walmart. Ugh. You buy the gas can and you just take the gas spout and you throw it away. And then you get one of these things. It works like a gas spout is supposed to. It actually pours gas. And so I guess some of you guys notified them, and so he went through his junk mail and found my emails and got a hold of me. And so I did order 60 of these things. We're going to be giving one of these to all of my $20 patrons and above coming up in the next week or so. We're going to be sending those out in the mail. And then also we'll be doing some giveaways. We ordered a few extra to be doing future giveaways of these things. These things are just amazing. We have these on all of our gas cans, and I ordered this one to go on one of my new gas cans for my chainsaw because I have I wanted to have a separate smaller gas can for my chainsaw, and I wanted to have one of these on it. And so that's why I ordered this one. But I got 60 more coming in the mail, and GasSpouts.com does in fact want to continue to be a sponsor, and so we're gonna, the coupon code is still good for when you order. So if you order by using our coupon code at AmericanHomestead.com, you get 20% off your order. So I mean, these things aren't expensive anyway. They're pretty cheap. I mean, they're like $10, I think, $10, and you get 20% off that. So that helps with shipping, or taxes where you live. So it's a pretty good deal. I think the coupon code is AAH, for an American Homestead. So AAH 20 off when you check out. Put that in the coupon code, and it's good because they give us a little bit of kickback for when you order. So check those out if you're interested, and we'll be doing some more giveaways in future episodes of these gas spouts. They're just awesome. I love it. I can't stand those stupid, and you know why? I think I did a video on this before. You know why they came out with those, goofy looking gas spouts on those Walmart gas cans? It's because that there were a few people who set themselves on fire because they weren't thinking. They didn't have very good brains. And you can use almost anything. You can childproof something to the point of it not being used at all, and you could still hurt yourself with it. That's just the way it is. But there are people who are just so brain dead in our world today that it doesn't matter how much you childproof something, they can still hurt themselves with it. And I think most good gas cans, most good gas spouts were all made in a small town in Oklahoma named Miami. It was Miami, Oklahoma. And that was where they made a majority of U.S.-made gas cans with actual good gas spouts on them. And because of the amount of lawsuits from idiots out there, they had to close down. I mean, you can look up the news articles. Miami, Oklahoma is where the majority of those gas cans and gas spouts were made. And it was because of lawsuits that you now have the gas spouts that you have on gas cans in Walmart that just don't work. And there's all kinds of tutorials out there how you can, manipulate these things or drill them out to make them work better. But still, I mean, wouldn't you rather just have a gas spout a cheap gas spout that works? Anyway, GasSpouts.com, appreciate that. If you order from them, use our coupon code, you'll get 20% off. So we'll be doing some more giveaways of that coming up in the near future. And all of my $20 level patrons get a free one coming up this coming month. So that's going to be good. All right. Also, what else? So the trivia question. I want to do the trivia question after we do the news, before we get to the chat. So what did we do this week? Jamie, again, had to go to the dentist. And so that's why she's not here tonight. She's recovering. She can't smile right now. So she told me tonight, she's like, I really wish I could smile, but she can't smile. So she can barely talk. And she has to really watch what she eats because it can mess up in her mouth. So she's on a kind of a very soft liquid diet, type stuff. Anyway, I wasn't getting a lot. I'm really tired tonight, actually. I mean, even it doesn't show because I'm always animated. And I do have my coffee, so that's good. But I have not been getting a lot of sleep over the last 2 weeks because we're expecting lambs. And I've been going out there, I'm not kidding you, every hour, every other hour at night because it's been so cold that if our lambs are born when it's this cold, they will freeze to death. And we had 3 lambs that did freeze to death this year. Very sad. And, you hate that when that happens. It's just very disappointing, very heartbreaking to go out there and find a newborn lamb, or a couple of newborn lambs in one case, that hit the ground and just froze to death. They couldn't, the mom, and both times this happened, one instance it was twins, and the other instance it was just a single. But both of these instances, the moms were new moms. And so, that does happen. And so they didn't really know what to do. A new mom doesn't know what to do a lot of times. Usually the older ewes are pros at this, and they can lick the lamb clean, and they can get it going, they can nudge it, and all is well. But for these new moms, they just didn't do well, and so they froze. And one of the lambs, I think, part of the problem, it was so cold, but also the older moms will lick the bag. It's the uterus, the lining or whatever it is inside the uterus that comes out with the lamb, and a lot of times it covers their nose, and so the new moms will lick that off so that the new lamb can breathe. Well, if the new mom doesn't do it, well, it can't breathe. And so one of the instances that was the case as well. So it just is what it is. So what you do is you have to go out there like every hour, every other hour to see if they're in labor, and hopefully you catch it in time so that your lambs don't die. The last few days it's been pretty warm, and so it's been okay. You know, I haven't had to pay too much attention, but I'm still going out there at least at midnight, and you know, sometimes maybe at 3 in the morning, and then once at 6 in the morning. But when it was cold, I was going out there like every hour, every other hour, just to make sure. And I just was not getting a lot of sleep the last week, 2 weeks or so. So I've been really tired, and I haven't even done a lot. We didn't do a lot of videos this week because of that. Mostly, I was so tired. I would at 6:30, I would go out, check on the lambs, and then Jamie's usually getting up by then, 6:30 or 7 or so. And so I'm making coffee, or she's making coffee, or I'm making her coffee for her. And then I'm going to bed. You know, and so I'm sleeping most of the morning because I've been up all night. And my son Joshua, he'll take over at around 7 or so, 7:30 or 8 o'clock, and then he'll go out there and start checking on the lambs to make sure they're okay, or make sure the sheep are okay. It's just been a hectic week, and again, not getting a lot of sleep. So, but now the good news is today the last of the lambs were born, and so we had twins that were born today, and that was it. So we're all done. And so I got 2 new lambs that are out there, and they look like they're doing pretty good. Last week, at the end of the show, I took you out there. I took my phone out there. We did a little live stream out there at the lambs, and we just showed you some of the new lambs that we had. Well, now that we have 2 more lambs this morning, I'm going to go take you out there and show you the 2 new lambs we have, you know, tonight after the show. After the show, I'll take you out there because I need to check up on them anyway, and then just, you know, we'll do a quick video out there, a live stream, so you can see the newborn lambs. Now, these 2 lambs that are born today, they had some color to them. Most of the lambs have all been white, but these 2 lambs actually had a little bit of dark brown and black splotchiness around their heads and stuff. So that was quite interesting. And Chris, where I get these sheep from over at Shalom Acres, said that he's had some that were born that way this year too. A lot of color in them. So I think, I'm not sure which daddy was which. I'm not sure how that happened, but you know, oh well. So I'll take you out there tonight after the show, and we'll check out some new baby lambs. They're real cute and they're real cuddly, and you know, they look like they're doing well. So I'll show you that tonight. Anyway, what else did we do this week? Like I said, it's been crazy. I haven't done any videos. I've got Jamie has her next video in line for the soup series. It's already recorded. I just need to, you know, get it uploaded. It'll be uploaded tomorrow. And with that, she did a quick video on rice, making rice. So a quick 2 or 3 minute video on making rice. And then plus that video goes with the next video, which will also be uploaded at the same time on the Asian soup she's going to make. So the next soup video that's next in line for the series is on Asian soup. Going to be great, fantastic. Green curry. If you don't know what green curry is, it is awesome. I don't like curry, okay? I do not like curry. I do not like yellow curry. I do not like red curry, but I do like green curry. It's awesome. So that video will be up. And then also we took apart our pump that you can see over there, right there, where my thumb's at, our kitchen pump, and we replaced it with all new leathers, and so that video is up, or will be up this week. Already recorded, just need to put it up. And then there was one other video I did. We butchered a ram, and we made roast out of it. 2 shoulder roast and 2 leg roast out of the back, and ribs, lamb chops. And so I laid all that out, showed you the process of how I make roast, especially on a shoulder roast. It can be a little bit tricky, but it comes with, you can get better at it with a lot of practice, and you can make shoulder roast are amazing. I mean, it's just some of the most tender meat because there's a lot of fat intertwined with that, and it just makes the meat so tender and yummy. So shoulder roast are the bee's knees when it comes to lambs or rams or sheep, whatever. So that video will be up this week as well. Again, we didn't do a lot of videos. I didn't do any videos this week. Did one Saturday night on us playing Catan. Some of you guys probably saw that. It was just our Saturday night ritual. We play games as a family. So, and Jamie wasn't playing because she was recovering from the dentist. But me and the boys were playing. So that's a fun game. All right, let me bring you over to the news. What I've got here. Let me see if I can get this screen over. Let me find the right screen to move it over to. I'm in OBS right now. Is that good? Yeah, that's good. So here we go. Oh, yeah, there it is right there. So this is the article. If you can see that, let me check over and make sure this is right. Yeah. Yeah, okay, you're seeing it. Good. So it says right here, this doomsday prepper dream home in the Nevada desert is on sale for $900,000. Take a look inside. And so there's, I always pay attention to the news, and I'm looking for homestead-related news articles that I can share with you and just talk about. And there hasn't been a lot lately. It just hasn't been a lot. This came up this week, and I immediately bookmarked it, and I said this would be a great one to show you, because once I read it, I was like, oh, yeah, this is going to be a good topic. Because here they are in the Nevada desert. I guess I'm assuming that this home was featured on Doomsday Preppers, that TV show. A lot of you guys have probably heard of that show. And it's on sale. You can buy this, $900,000. I mean, if you're a millionaire, this would be, or if you want to go into a lot of debt. If you want to go into a lot of debt, this might be the home for you. And it's supposedly a completely self-sustaining homestead in the Nevada desert. And they call it a castle. Okay, it says this $900,000 castle is a doomsday prepper's dream home. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to call it a castle. I mean, for me, a castle has to have a moat, has to be impenetrable, unless it's by a large force. And I don't see a moat on this at all. And according to all the other pictures, it doesn't really look like a castle to me, other than it's made with bricks. But I don't even remember a lot of castles made with bricks. They were made with stone. So, but they're calling it a castle, so okay, whatever. We'll just drive by that. It says, ever wish you could get away from it all? This 4-story, 22-room, 8,000 square foot castle, castle for sale for $900,000 in the Nevada desert is one solution. In a lot of ways, it's a doomsday prepper dream home. Extremely self-sustaining. We'll talk about that. Secure, also questionable, and admittedly quite odd. Well, I give them that, that's for sure. Basically, this property is an enormous privately owned fortress. Again, that's just, I don't know about that. With 16-inch thick concrete walls and self-sustained energy systems using solar and wind. So I think a good way to test that would be to get like, what's that guy? Demolition Ranch. Get him in his 50 and see if a 50 will penetrate those walls. Because most brick that I have seen is not that bulletproof. Okay, but it says 16-inch thick concrete walls with a self-sustaining energy system using solar and wind, with a 4,000-gallon water storage rain catchment system. So the first things that gave me pause on this was extremely self-sufficient, or extremely self-sustaining, that word right there, and a 4,000-gallon water storage rain catchment system. If you've watched our videos, you know we have a 5,000 square foot rain catchment system on our homestead, and we have rain catchment all throughout the homestead with a 5,000-gallon capacity. Okay, and so this is 4,000-gallon capacity. I know our two main tanks, well, especially our two main tanks, if it doesn't rain for a while, those tanks can get a little bit low, especially the one that's connected to our house. It's a 1,500-gallon water tank that's connected to my house, and Tim has a 1,500-gallon tank on his house, and his almost never goes empty because he has such huge amounts of water. I mean, his roof, all of his roof goes into that one tank, and so it's just a huge amount of coverage that feeds that tank. Whereas mine is only fed with the roof of our outdoor kitchen and our woodshed. But it's a 1,500-gallon tank, but I know that it does get close to being empty during those months when we have no rain. So this is 4,000-gallon water storage rain catchment system, and it's in a desert. It says it's located in the middle of the Nevada desert, and the owner has two enormous vintage pipe organs, which resonate through the halls when played, only adding to the oddity of it all. So it's got a giant pipe organ in it. This is kind of why I was kind of hoping Jamie would be here because I wanted her to see this. It's got a pipe organ, and it's got, so you can play the piano. Here's like the road leading up to it. So you can see whoever's coming to your place from quite a distance. So I guess that's strategically good, but and it's got some, I don't know what that is. Oh, it's a compass. Okay, it says a compass, and it's got the names of all the presidents engraved on it. So that's just, that again, odd. But they admitted that it's an oddity. So yeah, definitely odd there. It's called the Hard Luck Castle. The Hard Luck Castle was constructed between 2000 and 2012, so it took like 12 years to build it, with engineering that is designed to last 400 to 500 years, according to the property listing. It's made of steel, concrete, cinder block, and glass. More than 7 tons of rebar and 24,000 bricks were used to build the castle. And so that's the part that gives me pause. Cinder blocks are not very bulletproof at all. And I don't know if some of these other bricks are not cinder block. I mean, those don't look like cinder blocks, so I don't know. But I know cinder blocks are definitely not waterproof or bulletproof unless you fill them completely with concrete and rebar. Here's some more pictures of it. There's a gold mine on the property, so you can have your own gold mine, and they say there's gold still in it. I mean, so that's kind of cool. Here's the pipe organ. There's the pipe organ there. Pretty big pipe organ. The kitchen, that's, again, why I wanted Jamie here, because she loves to critique kitchens. And it's got a nice looking, I guess it's a wood-fired stove, I'm not sure. Maybe it's propane, I'm not sure. But, I mean, that's the thing, you look up at this picture. I mean, do you see any trees in this picture? Where's the trees at? So I don't know if it's a wood-fired stove, you're going to be in trouble there. But it is a desert, so maybe it's not going to get that cold. I understand deserts get cold at night, but this is the entrance, I guess the foyer, and it's got some naked ladies or something going on there, some kind of fountain. Just looks very New World Order-ish. Who knows? And then there's the organ that you play with the pipes in the background. You can kind of see them over here in the background of the corner of the picture. And yeah, that's the end of the article. But lots of pictures, really interesting. My main issue with this, guys, is the rainwater. I mean, you're in a desert. And so they say it's in Goldfield, Nevada. Goldfield, Nevada, which would make sense that there's a gold mine on it. And if you look at the average rainfall for Goldfield, it's 6.7 inches average a year. Now, where we live, it averages around, if I'm not mistaken, around 50 inches, give or take, of rainfall a year, average. 50 inches. And the Ozarks gets a lot of rain. Missouri and Arkansas Ozarks gets a lot of rain. So I tell people, listen, if you're interested in building a homestead, one of the first, it needs to be self-sustaining. One of the biggest things that you need to be able to do is have a homestead that gets a lot of rainfall, because the biggest part of being self-sustaining is water. You must have water. You have to have water. And I understand modern utilities, right? If everything turned off tomorrow, the thing you're going to want the most, the thing you're going to find that you didn't appreciate the most was water, okay? And the thing you will appreciate the most will be water. It's water. Water, water, water. You have to have water. And so if you're in a desert and you only have a 4,000 gallon capacity, listen, this 8,000 square feet, 22 rooms. You could put, a lot of people in that. And I know just by our family of 4 here living in this house connected to that one tank on months when there's no rain in the summertime between like June, July, August. I mean, that tank almost goes empty. Now, if that's 4 people drawing from that tank, and sometimes Tim draws from it too from his house. So if you have 22 rooms, you can fit a lot more people than just a family of 4 or a family of 6 in there. You're going to use an awful lot of water. You're going to drain that 4,000 gallons almost assuredly, and that's not even talking about a rainy season. You don't have a rainy season in Goldfield, Nevada. Do you see what I'm getting at? I mean, does it make sense now? I mean, you would need probably a 20,000 gallon storage capacity to make it through the year, and then a way to get more other than 6 inches of rainfall a year. You better be catching every drop of that water. Okay, so let me just go ahead. I'm not going to show you the screen here. But this is information that Tim gave me. It says 1 inch of rain will provide 0.623 gallons of water per square foot. Okay, so 1 inch of rain over 0.623 gallons of water per square foot. That's equal to 27,000 gallons per acre. Okay, that you get for 1 inch of rain. With a roof area of 2,000 square feet, you can collect about 1,250 gallons per inch of rain. Now, I don't know how big the roof is. It doesn't say. But it does say in the article that they have a trailer that they use to go get more water. I mean, so they're telling you right up front, well, this water, this tank, this 4,000 gallon capacity tank is not enough because we have a trailer that we use to go get more. And everything, if you read the article, it also says, I mean, there's nothing close. So, I mean, you're driving at least an hour to get anywhere to civilization or more. So my question then is this homestead really self-sustainable? I don't see how it is. I don't see how this is self-sustainable. Let me go back to it. Again, you look at the roof of that thing. It's a pretty big roof. I mean, so you could, I mean, I don't see gutters on the end of it, on the edge there. So is there rain that's not being collected? You would really want to get every square inch of that roof to collect rainwater. If not, I think you're going to be in dire straits pretty quickly. And it does say, let me see if I can find, where does it say? Yeah, there's a 4,000 gallon water storage tank. There is both a rainwater harvesting system. I'd love to see that because I don't think those work in places where there's not a lot of humidity. And an 800 gallon water hauling trailer to bring water to the building. So you have to go get water. I mean, they're telling you that up front. So my question again, is this really self-sustaining? I don't think it is, especially when you think about, you could probably put a dozen people in this home comfortably. A dozen people, because it's 22 rooms. It's 8,000 square foot. I mean, it's a big house, no doubt about it. But is it self-sustaining? I'm going to say no. So my point being, guys, if you want to build a homestead, and if you really want to build it in the desert, you can do that. There are people who have done it for centuries. 100 years ago, people were living in the Nevada desert. Okay, but they didn't have all the things that you're accustomed to today. Okay, they lived a completely different lifestyle than you do today. You think about the Indians who lived out there, and the Native Americans who lived there, and other people who have lived in desert climates. They're not used to the lifestyle you live today. So you're going to have to do without some things. So I tell people, listen, if you go out to the Nevada desert or anywhere, even Las Vegas, and you live with the utilities they provide for you, you're going to be fine. But the day those utilities are turned off, you're going to be in a world of hurt. You're going to be in a world of hurt. So, or you're going to have to drastically alter your lifestyle, which is going to stress you out. It's going to stress you out. It's one of the biggest things, too. I tell people who want a homestead, we mentioned this last week in our podcast. If you want a homestead and you and your wife are on board, because you must be together on this. You can't, one spouse cannot drag another spouse along for the ride when it comes to homesteading. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. If you're together on this, okay, and you can weather the storm, the storm together, you can make it. But going from living in the city, a city life or a suburban life, into a homestead life where you're going to either be off-grid or rural, very rural, it's going to be stressful because you're going to have to change some things in your life that you were used to having that you don't have anymore. It's just the way it is. But to move to somewhere, to have everything turned off on you, that is very much stress-inducing. It is. And so people who live in big cities out in the desert like Las Vegas and others, that's going to be very hard. People are going to not cope well. It's just, people are going to die. It's just the way it's going to be. So, is this house really self-sustaining? Not quite. I wouldn't think so. Because even if you ran out of water, even if you have an 800-gallon water trailer to haul water to the homestead, where are you going to get your gas? If all the services are turned off and the balloon has gone up, where are you going to get your gas? Are you going to get through to where you need to go an hour or more away to get the water and come back? Is it really self-sustaining? Listen, even the pioneers were not completely self-sustaining. They weren't. They had general stores. They had places where they could barter and trade, marketplaces where they could meet up with other settlers and trade things that they needed, the goods that they needed to survive. So even the pioneers, the early pioneers, that weren't completely self-sustaining. They had other people that they worked with and traded with. Even the Indians, the Native Americans, were not completely self-sustaining. They had other tribes that they traded with and dealt with economically to survive and get by, get the things they needed, and work together on certain things. So, I mean, completely self-sustaining doesn't exist. And I think a lot of people think it is. It doesn't exist. So, but if you're living somewhere where if everything was turned off tomorrow, your life would be really hard all of a sudden, is what I'm saying. Anyway, I saw that in the news, and I always pick out things like that. And, it's Doomsday Preppers. I mean, was that show realistic at all anyway? Honestly, no. I think we all agree it wasn't. I've had friends who were on that show, and they'll tell you it wasn't realistic. It was all scripted. Okay, let's see. Let's go over to the chat. Before you do the chat, let's do the giveaway. So I have a trivia question. You're going to need Google for this trivia question. So get your Google fingers ready. Get in front of your keyboards. I'm gonna ask the question. You're going to have to Google it because there's no way you're going to be able to find it without Googling this. So here is the question. This is going to be a good one too. Since we talked about sheep this week, and so we're on the topic of sheep, we'll just keep it there with the trivia question. I thought that'd be a great trivia question. I was going through. Tim put these together. Actually, this is a sheep one too here. Huh. Maybe we'll ask that on a different time, but that's a good one too. So Tim put these trivia questions together. He had gotten an entire list. I guess at one point on Steam he was posting trivia questions for his Steam post and, trying to earn Steam that way. And so he had a whole list of things. And so I figured, well, since we're doing trivia questions for the podcast and doing giveaways, he decided to give me these. And some of these are really well put together. I'm really enjoying reading these. But the one we're going to ask tonight, if you're ready, get yourself in front of Google, open up Google. The question is this: which president once had a flock of sheep, 48 sheep to be in fact, which president once had a flock of sheep trim the grass of the White House, trim the lawn of the White House? Which president once had a flock of sheep trim the lawn of the White House? Trim the lawn of the White House. That is the trivia question. Let me pop out the chat so I can see who gets the answer first. Which president? Name the president that once had sheep. Mama Hubbard, I need a full name, Mama Hubbard. Oh, HDM got it. HDM got it. Very good. HDM. Woodrow Wilson is correct. Woodrow Wilson. Some of you guys are just guessing. I mean, some of you guys were really quick on this. I mean, you are really sitting there at Google. Woodrow Wilson. Yes, you got it. Was it at? Where'd it go? HDM got it. Yeah, HDM. Very good. Mama Hubbard. I could give it to Mama Hubbard. I mean, she got it. I mean, but yeah, full name. I should have said that. Full name. So I'll give it to HDM. Mama Hubbard will try again next time. HDM got it. You get the USB thumb drive with all of our episodes, plus the bonus feature of the half-hour tour of the Homestead. You can't find that anywhere else except right there. If you want one of these, you can buy them on our website at AmericanHomestead.com. It does include the half-hour tour of the Homestead that you can't find anywhere else online. Okay, and then you also get the hot hands. These are pretty cool, especially in the wintertime. They come in handy. So HDM, what you need to do is you need to go ahead and go to AnAmericanHomestead.com, go to the contact page, and tell me you were the winner of the trivia question. So I have your address. Send me your address, and I will get that. Actually, Tim will get that in the mail to you this week. So get that over at AnAmericanHomestead.com, the contact page. So congratulations, HDM. Good show on that one. You were the fastest on that. Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson once used a flock of sheep, 48 sheep to be exact, to trim the lawn of the White House. And it says that he did this to save money by supporting the troops, saving money for the war effort during World War I. And the sheep, when they were put at auction, later earned $52,000 at auction. And the money was donated to the Red Cross. So after the sheep ate the green grass at the White House, they put them up for auction, and they donated the money, $52,000 for 48 sheep. Those were expensive sheep. I mean, I guess you're getting sheep because, I mean, it's for a good cause. You're giving the money to the Red Cross, but that's some expensive sheep. 48 sheep, $52,000. That's over $1,000 per sheep. That's expensive sheep. Even by today's standard, this was World War I. So, and the money was all donated to the Red Cross. Okay. So, let's go over to the chat room and see what's going on over there. Folks, if you have questions, you want to talk about something, keep it Homestead related and put it in all caps. If I don't see it, please keep posting it until I address it. I'll try to get to all of them. I don't ever get to all of them. I try to, but we'll see what we can get here. The Music Well says, man, I'm out of hot hands too. Well, sorry, buddy, but I think this is the last pack I have of this. I'm sorry, this is the last pack. Yeah. HDM says, do you still keep a bug out bag or do you do bug out events? Yes, we do have bug out bags. I need to go back. We need to go back and check on them, but they are in our storage room, and we do. I think I need to go out and just lay them out and check on them and see what's all in there and make sure they're all up to date. There's probably things that need to be rotated out here and there, things that expire. But yeah, we do have bug out the bags. We don't really do any bug out events since I've moved off grid. I mean, I'm living the bug out event, sort of. So, I went back and watched some of your earlier videos, and you spoke a lot about bug out. Yeah, we do a lot of that. I mean, but here's the deal: homesteading is the ultimate prep. Okay, so if you're into preparedness and you're bugging out, you like that topic, eventually getting a homestead is the ultimate prep. It's the ultimate survival prep. Getting on a homestead, being self-sustaining, raising your own food, having your own gardens, things like that, and even being off-grid especially is the ultimate survival prep, and that's kind of what we're doing. Mama Hubbard says, mailing your rocks this week, but no diamonds. Yes, sapphires. Oh, yay. So my kids have rock collections, and so they talk about you a lot, Mama Hubbard. They're like waiting, can't wait to see what rocks they get. And they trade with their friends. Some other neighborhood kids also have rock collections, and they trade often back and forth with each other. And so they have fun with those. So Mama Hubbard, they're looking forward to that. I'll let them know that you indeed have some things set in the mail for them. That's great. Really appreciate that. Boston Mountain Homestead. Boston Mountain, it's got to be close by. Do you have plans for the composting toilet? So some people don't realize in the Ozarks, I didn't realize this, that there is the mountain range that we are in right now, that I live in, is called the Boston Mountains. I was like, Boston Mountains? We're in the Ozarks. Boston is like that way somewhere. But yeah, it's called the Boston Mountain Range. Do you have plans for the composting toilet? We have done, building plans. I've talked to Tim. Maybe he'll see this video. I have mentioned to Tim that we ought to make plans for those. Like we did plans for our smokehouse, and we get a lot of people who buy that. I mean, I designed blueprints in Photoshop, and we get a lot of people who buy those smokehouse building plans. So I think it would be cool if we had the composting toilet building plans. We put them on for sale for like $2 or something like that online, because all it is a download. It doesn't cost me any money to ship it. And so a couple bucks would be great for the homestead, people who want to buy it. So I'll ask him about that and see if he can, go ahead because what he did for the smokehouse is he sketched it out, and then I took his sketches and I put it into Photoshop, and I created, digital files from those sketches. And so we could do the same thing for the composting toilets. But he'll have to put that together, but I'll mention it to him, or he'll probably see the video. Please remember, okay, this is Mr. Rain, good to see you back. Wheat Tree's here. Our two mods. Let me see what we got here. Shocker says you have a great channel. Thank you. I appreciate that. We try our best. This is real homesteading. Real modern homesteading. Shocker wants to buy some land and go off grid. I say do it. Libra Lady says, I had a rock collection as a kid. LS says, want guineas. I guess that means you want guineas and only have 1 acre. Will a fence work? So here's the deal with guineas. Guineas are amazingly effective at clearing out ticks and chiggers. I mean, they will completely annihilate. They will, within 1 season, they will annihilate any ticks and chiggers on your homestead, especially if it's only an acre. The issue is, if you only have an acre, you probably have neighbors close by. And the neighbors may not, I mean, you might want to ask them. I mean, they may be all for getting rid of, if you're going to buy the guineas, they may want to get rid of the ticks and chiggers just as bad as you do. The problem is, for the first 6 months or so, they're going to have to put up with the noise. After about 6 months, they start to quiet down a good amount, okay? Unless there's a lot of activity around where you live that keeps them squawking, they are just amazing noisemakers. And so if you have neighbors, you might want to check with your neighbors, because if they don't want the, if they have problems with noise, they're probably not going to appreciate you bringing guineas onto your homestead, onto your 1 acre homestead. They are going to be really, really, really loud and annoying. For me and for us, we don't mind, because we know that the job they perform is worth it. I don't like Lyme disease, and they don't have a lot of Lyme disease in Arkansas or Missouri, but they do have Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and they have other diseases that ticks carry. And with guineas, you don't have to worry about it, because they eat all the ticks. Sometimes I walk my entire 50 acres and I can't find a tick. I mean, that's amazing in the Ozarks. But guineas are that effective. They're just amazing. And not only will they decimate the current population, they'll decimate it so hard that it'll take years for the population to recover. I'm not kidding you. Amazing birds. But they are loud and annoying. So check with your neighbors first. That's really what it comes down to. Check with your neighbors, see what they say. Angela McDuff says, I'd like blueprints for the chicken coop. Yeah. That would be really hard to do. That was a big project for Tim. So I don't know if we'll ever do that. Please remember to put all comments. Okay, I got you. How many cords of wood do you burn in a year? We don't really go by cords. You know, around here, they go mostly by ricks of wood. And I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't think we've ever kept track. Tim might. He keeps better track of that stuff. Maybe he could, let me know, and I'll mention it next week. But we get slab wood because there's lots of lumber yards around here, lots of them. And they all sell slab wood, and they put them in bundles of 1 ton. So they'll sell you 1 ton of firewood, slab wood, and those for $20. $20 a ton, really cheap, and they'll even deliver it for you if you order enough of them. So we go through, on a cold winter, maybe 3 bundles between both of our houses. So $60 to heat 2 homes for a winter. Not bad. Not bad. Reminds me, I got to cut more wood tomorrow. I got some more slab wood. Our woodshed is empty or close to it, and I've been cutting up the slab wood, and so we'll get some more slab wood to cut up tomorrow. Will guinea hens eat scorpions? I don't know, but I know chickens will. I know where we used to live. When we first moved off grid, we lived on another piece of property, and they had scorpions there, and they didn't have chickens running around everywhere at the time, and we saw scorpions. I have never seen one scorpion here, because one of the first things we did when we moved here was got guineas and chickens, and I have never seen a scorpion on my land. But I know they're here. I know they're in Arkansas. I know they're in the Ozarks. I have never seen one, because chickens will eat them. One time we found a scorpion at the old place we lived, and I saved it. I captured it, and I took it to the chickens, and they devoured it. They ate it. So chickens will absolutely eat scorpions. That's another thing, too. I've told people before, we don't see a lot of bugs in our house. It's greatly diminished because we let our chickens run around the outside of our home. Now, you have to avoid the chicken poop. They leave chicken poop, but they eat a lot of bugs. And so a lot less bugs get into your home if you let your chickens free range where you live. You just need to make sure you take your shoes off at the door, because you will step in chicken poop outside. And so we leave all of our shoes and boots and stuff at the door. How do guineas get along with other fowl and kids? I've never had an issue with the guineas and kids. I've had issues with other roosters and our children, but never guineas, I don't think. So guineas will beat up on chickens sometimes. depending. Okay, there's always a pecking order in the flock. What I would advise you to do is raise your guineas away from the flock. Here's how we did it. We have a guinea coop and we have a chicken coop. When you get your guineas, when they're full grown, you buy them full grown from somebody if you can. They're a disposable commodity. You're going to have to replace them every year or every couple years because predators will eat them. But they're a disposable commodity. They do their job and they eventually get picked off by predators, which means you have to replace them. Again, a disposable commodity, but well worth it. So we have a separate guinea coop. We keep them in there. When we bring them to the homestead, we keep them in there for 3 weeks, okay, away from the other coop. So they stay in there for 3 weeks, and that's home. And then we open the door and let them out. And they eventually begin to explore that, around that area of that coop, and they let that exploring area get wider and wider, and they eventually explore the whole homestead. But because they were there by themselves for the first 3 weeks, they know where home is, and they know they're not chickens. Okay, if you raise your guineas with chickens, they will think they're chickens, and you could have better chance of fighting in between your flocks. So have a separate area for your guineas, and at some point, your females will begin to nest out into the fields or in the woods somewhere to lay their eggs. When the females begin to nest, the males will no longer come home to that coop, and the females won't either because they're nesting. So at that point, it's only a matter of time before your predators, pick off your guineas. Okay, but during that time, they are decimating the tick population. Okay, so don't think you're going to keep your guineas. They're going to get eaten. Predators, owls, eagles, hawks, raccoons especially, coyotes, whatever, foxes will get your guineas. They will die. But the job that they perform is you can't measure that, in terms of benefit. I mean, it's just amazing what they do. So with the amount of time that you have them, they will decimate the tick population. But raise them away and, let them be their own little herd, and they will explore, and they will interact with your chickens, but they will mostly leave them alone. And their whole interest will be ticks and chiggers. If you raise them with your chickens, they're not going to eat as many ticks and chiggers because your chickens, you're out there feeding your chickens chicken scratch all the time. And so the guineas know they get fed too. Wrong answer. Keep them separate from your chicken flock. What is slab wood? Angela McDuff wants to know what slab wood is. Slab wood is like when you take a log to a lumber mill, first thing they do is they cut the sides off. They square off the log. Okay, they cut the sides and the top and the bottom off. And those cuts are the slabs, the rounded edges. And some of them can be bigger, some of them can be smaller. But what they do, when they run them through there, they want to square off that log so that they can then cut boards out of it. Or a lot of times they'll cut boards around here. They'll cut boards off, and then they'll make tie lumber out of it. They make railroad ties. So, but those first cuts that come off that log to square it off are slabs. They're called slabs. And it's good firewood. It's sometimes it's smaller, sometimes it's bigger. So you get small pieces, you get big pieces. It just depends on the log, really. Let's see what else. Do guineas eat ticks off the animals? Yeah, I don't know for sure if they'll do that or not. They don't really mess around with the other animals. I mean, I guess if they saw a tick on an animal, they might. Another benefit that guineas have are they will kill snakes, poisonous snakes. In fact, in one of our season episodes, I think it was season 1, one of the episodes, at the end of the episode, I show you 3 or 4 of our guineas surrounding a rattlesnake, a big rattlesnake. And I mean, if 3 guineas against a rattlesnake, 4 guineas against a rattlesnake, they may not kill it. But if you had like half a dozen or a dozen guineas, they will absolutely kill a rattlesnake. They will absolutely kill a copperhead, any snake. They do not like snakes. And when they find a snake in the area, they will sound an alarm. They sound an alarm over anything anyway. But for a snake, absolutely, they will go crazy. And they will try to kill it. If there's enough of them, they will try to gang up on that snake and they will kill it. So they are snake-killing creatures. And again, another benefit of having guineas on the homestead. Chickens, not so much. They won't do that. But chickens will eat mice. Chickens will eat scorpions. Chickens will eat lots of bugs, insects. But unless a bunch of guineas are there to gang up on that snake, chickens will sometimes join in on that. And once the snake is dead, the chickens will eat it too. But guineas are like amazing at killing snakes. Do your chickens Do your chickens stay in the coop, run, or roam the yard? They run everywhere. I mean, there are certain days we keep them in the pen. And I need to bring you back over to the chicken coop sometime soon so you can see the extended run that Tim has built. So he really extended the run quite a bit so that on days when he doesn't want to let them out, they have plenty of room in there. It's amazing, the amount of room that's in there now. And so the chickens, for the most part, most days, they're out on the homestead. They go wherever they want, and they come back at night. And Tim gives them a little bit of feed, so they know, they want to come back because they know they're going to get fed. But they just free range, all the time. All the time. Let's see. Mr. Rain says, yeah, slab wood is typically edge and side cuts from milling boards from lumber mills. That's correct. How are the lambs we saw last week? They're good. And so after the show is over, I will take you down to the lambing barn, and I will show you the new lambs that were born today. What predators do you have to contend with, Zach? I think the biggest predator we have to deal with most often are hawks. Hawks. They will try to kill your chickens. And so, I won't go into how we deal with those because, there are legalities. But yeah. But mostly it's hawks. And not a lot of, there's some raccoons for sure, probably second most. Coyotes sometimes, but mostly it's hawks. How do you get sawdust from the compost toilet? Well, lately we've been actually using pine. It does break down, a lot better. But you can buy pine bags over at, Tractor Supply. Tim's been buying that. But we do have a lot of sawmills around here, and so you can go get oak, sawdust forever. However, oak, when it gets wet, stinks. So it's not really recommended for composting toilets. However, if you can locate hickory dust or hickory wood chips, that is the best. Hickory smells good when it gets wet. It doesn't put off any foul odors. It really does a good job of keeping foul odors in and trapped. Pine also does a good job at that. So, pine or hickory is your best bet. Don't use cedar. Cedar doesn't break down. It smells good, but it doesn't break down. Oak smells awful when it gets wet. So it just smells rotten. And plus, you're trying to keep odors locked in, and it doesn't do a good job of that at all either. So oak is probably the worst thing you could use, oak dust. Speaking of sawmills, how is yours running? Good. I haven't used it in a while, but I do have a bunch of trees ready to be sawed on it. So what I was thinking about doing was maybe, and I talked to Jamie about it some more, but I mentioned it to Tim, is maybe this spring, because I have a bunch of logs that I want to mill, maybe invite the patrons, whoever wants to, because I know not everybody would be able to, but maybe invite the patrons to do like a camp out, like a 2-day, 1-day camp out or something, and basically just mill a bunch of lumber. And everyone can see how it works. And the benefit for you guys coming to help would be we could mill a few boards, cedar boards, for you to take home with you if you want it, for whatever projects you have, or, because we get a lot of boards off of one big, cedar log. And I do mostly cedar logs. You can do white oak and other things, but it's a lot harder on the blade. And so cedar is very soft wood, so it cuts like butter on that mill. And I don't have to sharpen the teeth hardly at all. It's just real easy to cut. And so we were thinking about maybe having a 1 or 2 day event in the spring where we can invite people to come camp on the homestead. You could stay here, and for that day or 2-day period, we would just saw a bunch of lumber. I got a bunch of logs that are down there. I got a couple logs already down there. I have a couple other logs that are already cut and just need to be dragged over there. And plus, I have a bunch of other trees picked out where we, the people who come can use the tractor to, we could just kind of do a big day where we go get a bunch of logs, bring them over to the mill, and then saw them up. And then if people want to take some of the boards home, you can have some, use them for your own projects. My goal for this event would be to fill our solar kiln, because we have a kiln, and a kiln is what you use to dry the lumber so that you can use it for furniture or whatever. My kiln will hold about 800 board feet. And so I would only need about maybe 4 maybe 5 more logs to fill up with the logs that I have now, to fill up, to have them sawed, and that would fill up my kiln. So you can get a lot of board feet out of these logs. So I'm thinking maybe we'll do that as an event. I haven't decided yet. I got to talk to Tim some more. I got to talk to Jamie and make sure it's all good. But I think that would be fun. I think people would enjoy that. You get to see the tractor run, you know, how we haul the logs out of the woods. And you'd be able to see how the mill runs, and you'd be able to participate and help. Obviously, we have different safety, you know, have safety briefing, and because it is a little bit dangerous to run some of this stuff. But once you, you know how to act around the mill and everything, you know, my oldest son helps run the tractor at the mill anyway, so it'd be easy for anyone to learn how to do this. But I think it'd be a fun time, and people will be able to get something out of it too, you know. I've been using, Boston Mountain says, I've been using cedar. I will need to go to pine. Yeah, we don't have a lot of pine where we live. There's pine forest in the area, but on my homestead, it's basically oak, cedar, lots of cedar, hickory, and there's a good amount of maple and some cherry wood too, but mostly oak, red oak, white oak, and hickory and cedar. That's mostly what we have. How big is your homestead acres? About 56 acres. 56 acres. Any future plans on creating more seasons and episodes? I don't know. I would like to. It's just, it's a lot of work to put together a season because you have to release it on a certain day, and I don't know. It's a lot of work. And right now, I'm also having to earn half of my income by doing web development. I have clients that I work with, you know, creating web development, and so that takes a lot of time. So it's really hard to be able to work all of that in together. If I didn't have any web clients, and really, I mean, that pays a lot of the bills. And, you know, I have school loans that I still have to pay off. Other than that, I don't have a lot of debt or any debt. So that's really, I have to keep doing that, you know. It's a lot of work to put together those season episodes that haven't come out on certain days. And, you know, I've really been toying with the idea because I have another friend who's been doing it on start putting episodes over at Amazon. Because he started posting episodes over Amazon Prime, and he's getting a lot more money, you know, for his videos that he puts over at Amazon Prime. YouTube, you know, if you don't realize it, YouTube rips creators off when it comes to advertising. I mean, you go out and you try to find out how much it costs to put advertising up, and then you look what a creator gets per his views. It does not match up. Okay. Not that I really care about the money so much, but, you know, I am making a living off this, and I I like getting paid for the work I do. I don't know. We may do it at some point, do more season episodes. You know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but I enjoy doing the kind of episodes we're doing now. It's just the videos on certain topics. Let's see. Weetree Bonsai hands out helmets. I'm not sure. I must have missed a comment that was for. Black walnuts. We don't have a lot of walnuts around here. I mean, there are walnuts in the area, but not a lot in the area. At least on my place. I got one tree I know that's a walnut. I thought I had a couple trees that were walnuts, but Chris ended up being right on that. Chris over at Shalom Acres. He said that wasn't a walnut. I said, it is a walnut. He said, it's not a walnut. I said, it is a walnut. And finally, someone came over and said, I don't think it's a walnut. And I researched it more, and it's not a walnut. It's called the Tree of Heaven. That's the name for it. And there's another name for the tree, but it's known as a Tree of Heaven. And it looks really, if you look it up, Tree of Heaven, I think is what it's called. It looks a lot like a walnut. It can be confused as a walnut. The leaf structure is the same, branch structure, a lot of it's the same, but it's not a walnut. Rain Country wants to know, is she falling down on the job or something? I'm not sure. Any recent mushroom harvest, bobblehead, or Weetree wants to know. Oh, is that what something that bobblehead wanted to know? I didn't see that on there. No, not a lot yet right now, if you're asking. You know, that'll come mostly in the spring. We'll have some more spring mushroom harvest for sure. It's too cold right now. Any tips on organically fertilizing pecan trees? I would just, if you have sheep manure, I mean, that'll work. you know, that's good. I got pecan trees growing out there. I'm going to get some more growing, but yeah, we have pecan trees, and we use our composting, our human manure for that, and we use sheep manure or cow manure or whatever. Okay, so I think we're going to end it there. I don't see, is there any other trees? Hey, listen, I'm going to take you back out there to the sheep shelter, and I'll get back on here in a minute. Angela McDuff wants to know, you still have turkeys? No, we do not have turkeys. Tim wanted to turn that into a workshop, and we were having trouble growing turkeys, and so I think he kind of gave up on that. But, you know, not to say we won't have them in the future. I really liked having turkeys. I really like having my own turkeys. I like turkey. I like the meat, and but it was just kind of hard to grow them, sort of. So we stopped growing those, stopped having turkeys. But he turned the turkey coop into a workshop. And also, my son's using part of that for his forge, for his blacksmithing, which we will be doing more videos on blacksmithing when the weather gets warmer. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be fun. I can't wait for that. All right, guys, we'll leave it at that. That's the end of the show. I'm glad you joined in. You know, thanks out to HDM. Make sure you send me a message so I can get your giveaway out to you. And if you're interested, gasspouts.com. You can use our coupon code. It's AAH20OFF. 20 OFF. You can find the coupon code at our website at AmericanHomestead.com. You look for the ad for the gasspouts.com and you get 20% off your gas spout. American-made gas spouts, not made in China. All right, guys. See you next time in the homestead. See ya. Bye. I'll see you at the sheep shelter in just a few minutes.